What's going on, everybody? I hope you guys are doing good. Hope you guys are doing well, and I hope you're celebrating the stuff that we're doing right here at the National Sex Day holiday. My name is DJ Rick, and I'm your host. I'm also the founder of the holiday. And on top of that, I want to thank everybody for being a part of this, being the only major adult holiday on record. We're on calendar and we're taking it by storm. I want to give a big shout out to those that went to Exotica in Miami. I met all kinds of people. I met some good talent, met some producers, had a lot of fun. And you know what? I'm planning on going to the one in New Jersey. I've been asked to attend that one. So, you know what? Everything is falling into place. And without the fans and the friends, you know what? We couldn't do it without the support. And we thank you guys 110%. Speaking of talent, you know what? I've got a really nice person who is going to be introducing herself. And I'm telling you, I've seen her pictures, but boy, she looks really good on video. Yes, she does. Who are you, sweetheart? What's your name and what do you do?
My name is Emily Muse. That was quite the intro. I love it. I'll take it. I'm from Toronto, Canada. I'm a former sex worker. I'm the owner of Muse Massage Spa, which is an erotic massage parlor here in Toronto. And I also host a podcast with my co-owner, Riley, called Muse on the Mic.
Okay. Well,
That's
I
the
tell you
scoop.
what,
Yeah.
it's not often that I do podcasts from people from another country. I mean, I'm open to it. And
Love it.
Canada's really cool, man. I've been there and I love the city. I love the country. I love winter.
Okay, you're on your own with that.
Uh, okay, you spend the
You're
summer in
on your own
Texas.
with winter.
You spend the summer in Texas and you will change your mind. It's 110 degrees out there, heat index, and we're not even to the thick of it yet. So yeah, I'll take the winter anytime.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Wait till that flips into about 10 feet of snow and you'll be like, nah.
I was raised in Europe, and when I left Germany to come to the States,
Oh
it was
shit.
15 below zero. So yeah, it doesn't bother me none.
Okay. I digress.
Well, sweetheart, maybe you can keep me warm.
Listen, apparently there's sexy specific days to do that. So I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by these specific holidays. I've been browsing your website.
The thing about it is, I have vanilla holidays that I've created before, and there's calendars out there
Nice.
that support, just crazy holidays. But here's the thing: when it comes to the adult holidays, you got to be careful about them. You got to be cautious of the holiday calendars that they go on. And if when it
Mm.
becomes a thing, then people have a better understanding of what you're trying to accomplish. What we've done with Sex Days, put it all together. We all love sex. We talk about sex. We're adults to say the good and the bad, the pro and the con, and we support sex positivity. That's why we do what we do.
I absolutely love that. I think so much more of need is needed in the world. We've got so many stigmas to battle all the time. And no matter who you are, sex is the one thing we all have in common. There makes no sense to me why it's stigmatized and, shunned so much. It should be celebrated, especially on certain holidays. Like, come on.
Well, one reason is because we have sex for pleasure. When other species, they have sex to procreate. And we do too.
Right.
But not many people document that the octopus or a squid or a dolphin has, they do it because they like it. They do it to procreate. We're not half as bad. I mean, we do that too, but we love our pleasure, don't
Listen, they do it in weird ways, just like we do too. Dolphins are very fluid, you know. Octopus changed a lot. Like there's some kinks in the water. Let's be real, right?
we? That would be
We
a
are
good holiday.
special, but we're not exclusive. I think it's important to know.
That would be a good holiday. National Underwater Animal Kink Day. Watch an
Hey,
octopus get his freak on.
I love it. I love it.
It could be a thing. And we laughed at the people when they invented National Toilet Day, and we got National Sex Day, and now underwater sex. Who knows? Who knows, right?
Changing the world one day at a time.
It is what it is till it ain't no more. That's always been my favorite expression. So I do know who you're
So
coming from.
fun. I
So
like that.
you gotta tell us, you say former sex worker. So how did you get
Mm.
into the business? What did you do in the business? And importantly, what made you get out of the business?
Ooh, all good questions. I worked in erotic massage parlors, rub and tugs, whatever you want to call them, happy ending massage. I started when I was 19. I retired when I was 26. I got into it through just, being bored with the job that I had, wanting to make more money, and the right kind of discreet opportunity came my way. Checked it out, chickened out quite a few times at first, and then finally ripped the band-aid and took the plunge, and made a shitload of money. I hope I can say that. A boatload of money that day.
You can say a shitload of
And I was
money on a sex podcast.
okay,
Okay? It's perfectly
good, good.
fine.
I made a shitload of money my first day, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I can do this. This works." So I worked for 8 years in a few different parlors here. They were great for what they were at the time, but there was no real caliber or quality. There was nothing fancy or like unique or special kind of in the industry. And when I met my business partner, who's my best friend, we had a little chat about the business and came up with a business plan. And I retired because 3 days after that, we opened Muse and opened our own parlor. And that's been open for 15 years. So we have made waves in the erotic massage industry here.
Yeah.
We have lovely competitors that dislike us very, very much because we love to innovate. We love to push the envelope, but we also love to like upgrade. And so things are focused more on the treatment of workers, the caliber and, quality of the venue itself. Why does it have to be seedy? Why can't it be fancy? Why can't it be as beautiful as like a day spa, or a gentleman's club? Like it can be luxurious, and with that, we attract a whole different market. We appeal to a different type of worker. We focus on the betterment, the safety, and the mental health of our workers. We're
Sure.
activists when it comes to law reform and stuff here.
Okay.
And
Let me
we
stop you
really,
right there. Let me stop you right
yeah,
there.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
see, you're in Canada, where America, our laws are whatever they are. It depends on what state. Also, we have federal laws too. Where Canada, in my opinion,
Mhm.
seems a little bit more relaxed with adult work. So, for what we want to know is, if we go to your spa, what kind of services do you offer? What can we expect?
Well, you're right. You're right in politics there because we are definitely more liberal, I would say. However, our federal prostitution laws are actually not that liberal, and that changed in 2014. Now, we've all found our workarounds and figured out ways to make it function, but it definitely wasn't a change that improved safety for the worker. It became a bit more of a challenge. So that put more pressure on focus on people like myself and my business partner, Riley, to kind of go against the stigma and what the assumption is. And so with that, we've also been able to become face forward. We're the only owners that show our faces out on the people's internet. And we get to talk about what we do in the sessions. So it is a lot more interactive than I think people realize. It's not just massage and happy ending. There is a part where there's something called body slides where you're both kind of naked, covered in oil, slipping and sliding all over each other. There's tons of foreplay. There's tons of mutual pleasure. There's kinks. There's fetishes. We cater to couples and have an amazing couples clientele. And we really aim to focus on fantasy fulfillment. If a
Oh,
client has a wish or an idea, we'll figure out a way to make it happen.
well, you guys need to come down to the dirty, dirty South of Texas, because I wouldn't mind flying to Canada for those services, but unfortunately, I don't travel international at this point. But you guys are more than welcome to come to the DFW and check it out. That sounds fun.
I wish you lived in a liberal state.
Yeah, we can't get to the specs of that. Oh, believe me, I'm gonna put a disclaimer on it right now. The views you have heard here are not the views of National Sex Day and its affiliates. Okay, just of the guests that happen to arrive here, because I know some people get a hard on when you talk about politics, and I'm not about that. So,
Absolutely. I agree. Touche.
well, I tell you what, I kind of got out of that one real fast, didn't I? Woo!
You
Mm.
did. You did. You snuck past body slides and went right through politics. It was great.
Yeah, well, you had me at body slides. I'm not gonna fib on that one, man. Hell yeah, I was thinking all kind of things. It's just that
Right.
we know how to skirt things here too. And with the adult industry, it's like it depends on the wording obviously. You can
Mm,
do certain things in this state if you word it right, or if you bring in some equipment. And from what I was told, this is what I was told. I don't know, but I was told that, quote unquote, when you're charging for services, if you bring a camera in the room, then you're actually shooting a movie. And that's more on the legal side than the illegal side. And one of my friends said, but I don't have any SD cards in the camera. I said, okay.
it's absolutely true, and that definitely comes from Nevada. That's where that law influence comes from. And I mean, great, right? We love a workaround. We definitely do. The problem is it shouldn't have to be like that.
It shouldn't.
It shouldn't have to be like that, regardless of your politics. We're all here to make our own choices. And if you and your wife or you and your hubby or you and all your neighbors want to make a movie, you should be allowed to do it, SD card or not.
Point, point. And when that came up, the light bulb came on. So I see how a lot of people are skirting around it. And they're
Yeah,
still trying to make new laws. There's old laws that people don't know about. So I tell people in the industry, you got to do your own research. Where are you filming? What are you
definitely.
filming? And read your contracts. If you can't find someone who can, that's a big part of it. Make sure
Mm,
it's a guaranteed pay or pay up front or whatever it is to make sure you have that safety issue going on as well as the safety on
absolutely.
set. So.
Yeah. As well as copyright contracts. You need to know who owns the material and how you can distribute it. You need to know about people's privacy requests. What if someone in your video doesn't want their face shown or their tattoo or something? So there's a lot to consider. I think the same would go for any stripper or any escort who's, putting an ad on the internet. She wants to be cautious that, maybe her family doesn't find it, but the right customers do. So you're right. Wording is key. Where you advertise is really important. Word of mouth will forever be king in this industry, no matter what. And referrals amongst the industry happen a lot as well. Clients refer workers they like to each other, and workers can reference for safety reasons about a certain customer amongst their own networks. And that kind of communication leads to safer work environments.
That's where it is. That's where it is. But in particular, international, because I got an idea of how people distribute your stuff here online or in person
Mhm.
or in stores because we live here and we know what we can do and bounce off people. Florida is much better from what I understand of the adult industry. Of course, you mentioned Nevada, Los Angeles, and from what I understand, New York, New Jersey depends on where you are. But in Canada, how is a distribution from there to get to the Americas? Because to me, you got customs, you got other things we do to for other countries to do what they do or bring it in or import, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But when it comes
Right.
to the adult situation, how does that affect you and how can we get material from your country into ours without any problems?
Well, I think there's a difference between material and workers. Sex tourism is very different from online porn distribution. Or I remember the old school days, right, where you'd buy like a mixtape or a CD from someone like the back of their trunk at the mall, park up, and you distribute media in a great way, burnt movies, all the things. Everyone knew a guy. That was the way. And then things like Pornhub came along. OnlyFans, all of the above. And now everybody and their mother is not just a porn star, but also selling and distributing sex work. And I love that. That was my favorite part of the pandemic was the sexual revolution that came with people making their own content. And I think when it comes to the cyber world, there's a lot more flexibility with borders. And yet each country has its own sex laws, cyber crime laws, all of the things that would play into that.
Sure.
Whereas sex tourism is a little riskier depending on where you're going in parts of the world, even sometimes through the Canadian US border. There are definitely times where you can easily drive through, at the Buffalo Bridge and just go right over the rainbow and it's no problem. There are other times I've heard of many an escort getting stopped at the airport and either being not allowed to go there or not allowed to come back because they've checked their social media or gone through their phone. So there's a lot of safety precautions that people have to take, especially on the workers' end, to make sure that they have safe travels. But once they do, once you figure out that system, I think it's a preferred way for a lot of higher end sex workers because what's called the fly me to you is luxurious and sounds lovely. Assuming your customer is lovely, that can be a great experience. You can make great money, see some places in the world you maybe never would choose to go to, and come back with, a full bank account and some more stamps on your passport. I think that's pretty awesome.
Never thought of it that way, but we don't have that not communication. We don't have the conversations about that in our country as much. Now, of course, I'm down here in the South where you are. You got New York, like you're talking about. You got all the
Hmm.
northern states, even parts of Washington State, Seattle, Vancouver.
Yep.
Where they do what they do, and some places that aren't secure. Like you said, more
Mhm.
friendly country where we can walk across one section and be in another country like that.
Yeah,
It happens.
definitely.
But I know some traveling escorts that tell me that they haven't went to Canada. They'll travel out of state and they'll go to places that are friendlier and they expect whatever, and they tell me what happens there, or the brothels in Las Vegas. Oh boy,
Right.
that was something. That's how I discovered that the hot chick that sat in front of me in my college class was an escort.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Yeah, she asked to borrow some luggage. She said she was going on a trip. And I gave her the
Mm.
luggage. I don't have a problem with what she did with her, what she does. I just figured, okay, someone's going to Vegas. Well, she came back with a shirt that said the Love Ranch. And I was like, is that a strip club? She said, no, but it's next level. And
Yeah, it's one up from there.
yeah, believe that to be true, knowing that this girl's got a college degree and she's got street education. That's how she's paying her
Love it.
tuition.
Love it. Love it. Love it. That is so good. That
Yeah,
is so good. I love when a sex worker goes completely against the grain of the stigma. I think that's fantastic.
yeah, she did.
That's so good.
And she said she had a lot of fun. So, traveling
Amazing.
is within the boundaries of and our territories. But I don't
Yeah.
hear a bunch of people or influx of people saying, let's go to Canada. We're going to go up there. We're going to fuck. Never happens down here, but I'm sure up
You know
there.
what? I think you'd be shocked. I think you'd be shocked how many Americans, as well from the UK and Australia, come to Canada to work. Now, there's different laws. They
Yep,
can't, for example, be a stripper in most cities because strippers are licensed here. And if you're not a citizen, you can't get a license. But escorting doesn't have a licensing process here. There's only one city in one province that has licensed brothels. Everything else is independent work. And the way our laws are structured is that it is legal for an individual to sell their own sex services. So, as an escort, she's completely entitled to do so. I wouldn't say it to customs at the border as to the reason for my trip, but at the same time, it would be Tuesday through Thursday, and then I'd have, my own time to tourist on the weekend or something like that. Like, I would definitely make it a part of my travels. And there's some amazing cities to go to in Canada with extremely affluent and plentiful clientele.
of course.
There's a lot of demand here for sure.
And it's like any other place in the America, and like you said, other
Mhm.
parts of the world. It's just the
Yep.
oldest profession. People do what they do, but to go to a country and say our laws will compare them to your laws. Of course, you can travel like you're saying, and do it with a license. Where, God, this is a political year. America, we kind of fighting over some stuff right now.
Oh, I do. I do. I'm
Let
big
me
into
tell you something.
politics.
If that was on the ballot, man, no telling what we would.
Well, if I may, porn is on the ballot for you guys this
No, no, not
November.
not not so much porn, escorting.
Escorting, sex work in general, absolutely. If that were a thing, I mean, we know which side would be upset and which side wouldn't, right? Let's steer away from all that. But I think
Again,
the
I left the
focus,
disclosure and disclaimer. I'm putting it out there because
I
she
love
said
it. I
that,
love
not
it.
me.
I'm highly progressive because of my lifestyle, right? I've made progressive choices for my life. I don't know if I would have gone that way if I decided to be a librarian. Maybe I would feel completely differently, right? But when you own a sex work business and you've been an escort and a massage girl before, you just come out with some opinions, right? You see some things and it changes the way it goes. You have some interesting conversations with politicians as well, and come out the other side seeing hypocrisy all over because they're often high volume clients, right? Let's be real.
You're right. I mean, you're
So,
you're you're 100% on that. Now we
what's
have a
good for one
law.
has to be good for the other.
We have a law in Texas because I host a different show,
Mm.
Vanilla Show, and there are laws on the books that people don't know. They don't enforce them, but they're there, and you can go to jail, get a ticket, or both, because they still exist. In Texas, it is illegal to own more than six dildos in your possession. Yes, it's illegal.
I love hearing those random small town American laws because they are hilarious. None of them make any sense. And they're so random. It'll be this tiny little town that's got a population of like 1,000 people. And the rule is like you can't have a bath after like 5 o'clock, or you can't walk down Main Street with an orange in your hand. And I'm like, what happened? How
Yep.
did we get here? I need backstory because otherwise I'm just confused. This sounds like Florida. Like what's happening?
Well, the thing is, when they had all those parties where they sold the toys, in that era of, hey, guess what?
Oh, the Fantasia parties. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we had those here, and the women who brought the kits, they brought what they brought. They brought the food and drinks. They sat down, talked about it. A friend of mine did that. She passed away years ago, and she's like, "Well, for you ladies, I can't sell you more than six. I can't document that you got more than six dildos, or I'm going to jail." And now I know why, because they will enforce that, but they're gonna go to your house and pull up your
Oh,
arsenal and say
that's
what's going on here,
hilarious.
right?
Right?
And you can
Come
say,
out with your toys up.
well, you could say, hey, six of these are mine, six are my husband's. He can have some too. It's weird how that law is, and it's still in the books, and some people may have gone to jail for that. And since you mentioned Florida, I found this law to be something.
Oh, gimme.
It's illegal to have sex with the porcupine.
Well, it should be. Goodness gracious.
Somebody had to do that for it to become a law.
You
That's
know
the
what? No, in Florida, they probably did though, because these are people that jump on crocodiles and alligators and stuff. So I'm not surprised.
yeah.
Someone would have to say, don't do that to the porcupine. It doesn't like that.
I'm just like, well, okay, prom night, you by yourself, you see this prickly thing walking by, you got your tuxedo on, and you're gonna go over there
You're like, hey.
and break that cherry, among other things.
Us. Oh gosh. Oh gosh.
Somebody knows somebody who did that. Okay. Somebody. They ain't talking because I
Based
haven't
on a
seen it.
true story.
Oh, it's a true story. They made a law about it. They made it for a reason. But I'm trying to figure out who in the hell did that porcupine. Why you poking?
Oh gosh. Right? What drug, what drink were you on at that point that you thought this is a good idea?
You could
Oh
not be
Lord.
sober trying to fuck a porcupine. Come on, people. Let's just be real.
Oh, that's funny.
It's still a law. And you're
Shout
sitting
out to
there.
Florida because you know what? I got to give parts of Florida credit. Miami is big support of sex workers
Yeah.
and sex in general. Great parlors down there. There's some great massage parlors down there. There's some great strip clubs and all kinds of different things. So, as much as the Florida man is really a thing, as are the crocodiles, I got to give them a shout out when it's due. And now I know to watch out for porcupines.
Yeah. Apparently, a porcupine is a little sexy thing down there. I'm like, it's just
Hey.
people are into what they're into. And we talk about that at Sex Day, but no one has come across our desk and say, hey, man, go interview the guy that did this porcupine. I want to know who did that.
Literally, I want to know his name. I need to hear his backstory for sure. Like, tell me how it happened. Walk me through that night.
Yeah, even a family member was your grandfather that did that porcupine back in 1888. Was that him? Okay, how'd it go for you and your grandma? I mean, I want to know.
Oh, I gotta know. I gotta know. That's funny. That's
Yeah,
real funny.
yeah.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? Because I know that doesn't exist
Listen,
up in your world, but it does down here. Even in New York, because you mentioned that, there's still a law on the books that says clearly you are not going to kiss in an elevator, and if you do, it's a $200 fine.
wow. Well, that takes away half of 50 Shades of Grey. That's crazy.
Point, point.
That's crazy.
How can you enforce that? You know?
Yeah, I mean, that would require monitoring security surveillance. Oh, and then going forward to find the people and actually hold them accountable. That's terrible. And yet, for that security guy, probably his best day at work.
You got that overzealous cop that's going to be like, okay, you're coming with me because I saw you kiss your wife, and we can't do that in this town, partner. And you're going to go through the process like you're talking about, and somebody's going to be there with you wearing orange. Hey, man, what you in for? I kissed my wife.
I kissed my wife halfway between the third and the fourth floor.
Yeah, yeah. It's a law. So, yeah, that's why I ask these questions when you're over
Oh,
there because
shit.
you guys aren't crazy like we are here in the United States sometimes.
You know, I can't say we don't have any laws. I'm sure there's small towns in Canada that have some weird laws like that, some weird, strange, how the heck did we get here moments. But you know, we've got even under our company is licensed, body rub parlors are licensed here. So under that, we even have some weird bylaws that don't make much sense. And getting any kind, I mean, for us, it's city regulators. It's not like federal politicians or anything, but even on the city level, it's really hard to get people to change things. And our bylaws were written in the 1980s and they've yet to update them. So, for example, they don't, but we could get ticketed for having digital records like business records, our banking, our ins and outs of customer clientele. They expect it to be paper records. And if they wanted to, they could actually write us a ticket for that. We're not supposed to have a website. Like there's lots of weird things where you're like, because in 1980, who had a website? Nobody, right? So it's not a thing. It's considered advertising and it goes against our bylaws. It's very bizarre.
That
Getting
is
that changed though is weird.
that is bizarre. But
Right?
the laws I'm talking about, they're written in the 1800s. So I'm talking about 1980s versus 1800s. This was 1900 to 2000. This shit's still on there.
Oh,
People,
that's funny.
people are still fucking porcupines. People are
Listen,
still kissing in
people
elevators.
did weirder fucking things back in all kinds of eras long before the modern era came about. Listen, all of those hieroglyphics have some kink involved. There is a Kama Sutra developed generations and centuries before we even decided what a body rub parlor or a strip club was, you know, like the bathhouse is as old as time. There are so many things that like people forget through history how quickly we forget, you know? And listen, people have been doing weird shit for the longest time. On our podcast, we did a whole episode about ancient sex facts, and it goes back to like Cleopatra. We're talking about Catherine the Great, like pulleys with animals and mistresses and maids that help fluff before hubby gets in, and like all these things. We were jaw dropped. I thought being in the sex industry for 25 years, I would know a thing or two. And listen, a walk down history lane will humble and school you so fast.
The
It
Roman
was
orgies,
hilariously shocking.
the Roman orgies
Yes,
they had, they were having sex with children and they were
with everybody.
animals. They were banging sheep and
Animals,
shit.
gay, straight, everybody at once, all in a pile. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fine then. It was cool. Nobody wrote a law about it. Hell, the weekly orgy they
No,
had in Rome, it's like you knocked on the door. Y'all can come to the orgy. Yep, we got one. Who's coming? This couple, that couple. Everybody had a good time. Not anymore.
it's true. Everybody had fun, right?
Everybody had fun. Well, we can't invite the couple down the street. They brought that porcupine here last time. No, no, that was experience, Jack. Nope. My wife's still pissed off about that. This shit is still
The
on the books.
porcupine.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
still on
I
the
love
books.
it. I love it. That is so funny.
I didn't
People
do
are
it. Hell.
so interesting, right? Because like it's only trying to like lock people down that we come up with these silly rules or restrictions or laws. It's like as long as everyone's consenting, let people do whatever they want to do. Honest to goodness. Consent is really the only thing that matters. That's all. That's literally it. You want to stand on your head and do it sideways? Knock yourself out. Who cares? I've never understood. There's a famous line from an old politician up here that always said, keep the government out of the bedroom. And I think that applies for so many things because even if your like neighbors or friends don't like it, they're not in your bedroom. It doesn't matter. Go
Hmm.
find the people who like what you like. And now with the internet, we can find like-minded people across what? Two Twitter DMs and
Yep.
we're connected. So like let's just do what makes us happy. There's enough things to stress us out already in the world. Makes
And
no
then
sense.
and then again, okay, if people know what's going on in your house, then they might want to be in your bedroom. You'd be surprised that
Listen,
yeah, because my husband don't do that, but you do.
that's how you end up with a coveted invite. And you're like, I'm finally going to the New Year's Eve party. I finally got an invitation.
That's right. They know what's going on over here now. It's out in the streets, so
Right?
have at it, man. Have at it.
If it ain't Diddy, let's do it, right?
You got that right. Well, I'll tell you what, we're so shot on time that I've got to get your information as far as your website or how
I would
people
love
can
that.
find you, so we get some business going your way. And I tell everybody I podcasted with before, I do bring people back for follow-ups. Believe me, you got a lot to say, and I really want to follow back up with you. So
I
let them
love
know how they
that.
can find you and
Anytime.
everything else. So let them know where they can
Anytime.
find you.
You can find me on Twitter at Miss_Emily_Muse. Our website for the spa is musemassage.spa.com, and on YouTube or Patreon at Muse on the Mic for the podcast.
There it is, people, all the way from the northern parts of Canada. This lovely, sweet
Hey.
lady. She's gorgeous. She's hot as hell. She's a good
Um,
person to talk to. And you guys that travel there, hey, you got the place now where you need to go and check out for yourself. To come back to the narrative,
Absolutely.
National Sex Day is about sexual freedom. We want people to talk about what's going on, what should be going on, laws that we need to know about, safety issues, safe sex. We still pass out condoms once or twice a month down here to individuals. With school
I
getting
love that.
hard for colleges and stuff, we're going to be hitting them hard like we did last semester with knowledge, with testing, STI screenings. All this is a part of the equation, and we're not stopping because we do what we do, because this is something that's not going away. But the more we talk about it and the better understanding we have, everybody will be on the same playing field. Thanks again for tuning in. You guys know where to find us, sexdays.org. You can check that out on Twitter. We're also on FetLife. So do what you do. More podcasts are coming, and we thank you. We'll see you guys next time.